There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy a favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Now, obviously, you are very familiar with the mega brand solutions company known as Metra, but were you aware of their subdivision that specializes in ADAS? That's right, Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, called Ibeam. Well, you've come to the right show because we're going to dive deep into the Ibeam brand and everything they have going on for ADAS solutions. We've got Jason Anderson in with us today to give us all the goodies and news that you need to know. This is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM, Ibeam, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another CMA Connected presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. ADAS, that is on the menu. And of course, we're going to cover every brand that you need to know about as a 12-volt retailer. And one of those brands is Ibeam from Metra. Yes, the brand that's dedicated to ADAS solutions, whether it's cameras, backup camera replacements, integrations, and the like. We're going to cover quite a bit of that today. But to do so, we're going to bring in our partners at Importel, who is one of their major distribution partners for Metra here in Canada. We've got the 12-volt Viking joining us. Jaren Hjelmeland, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Good. How are you doing today, Ben?
Man, I like talking about ADAS. It's kind of like a fresh category for me personally. Like, years ago, this didn't exist. It's kind of like a new category. And I love to see how the technology is catching up and in some cases exceeding some of the OE equipment that's out there.
Yeah, for sure. It's an ever evolving category. There's new solutions. I think ADAS is still constantly changing because it's pretty new. Not like remote starters where it's like start your car, you're done. No bad talk about remote starters, but there's constantly new things coming out in the ADAS category and different solutions for things, new technologies that are cutting edge, or a lot of people don't even know that they exist in the aftermarket. Like they see it on factory vehicles and they're like, oh, that's cool. But it's like, oh, you can get that on your older car.
Dude, I can't tell you how much you just nailed that. I've been preaching that all week. Consumers are not aware in many cases that these solutions are even available. They feel like if they didn't check off the box when they bought the car, well, I'll have to wait till the next car to get it. Not true. Us 12-volt retailers, dealers, specialists, we can get in on that because we have their vehicle in the bay. Now, I admit, much more going on in ADAS than remote start, sure. But right now, remote start season's right here. Cars are coming in the bay. Here's an opportunity to upgrade that customer to a dash cam, to a better backup system, to some integration. Whatever the case may be, this is what it's all about. So my question to you before we bring in our specialist, how important is that Metra partnership with Importel, especially in this Ibeam ADAS category?
Oh, it's a huge benefit. It's a huge partnership. Metra is definitely a solutions-based company, and they come out with interesting different solutions for stuff that not every brand carries. But Metra having such a wide catalog of stuff, it's great. It's go-to brand for a bunch of stuff.
I would almost say it's a must-have partnership in many cases. I mean, I'll be hard-pressed to argue if there's a shop out there that exists today that doesn't install at some point something from the Metra catalog.
I think it's near impossible to run a shop without touching Metra.
Agreed. Okay, without further ado, we have him waiting in the back. Let's go ahead and bring him in. I mean, he's kind of an important person at Metro. He's the Vice President of Research and Development. It's a big title. Jason Anderson, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ben. Jaren, how are you? Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, sir. I hope you're ready to give us some goods and give up some information on some of the exciting products from Ibeam. Obviously, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of explain a little bit. Like the Ibeam brand truly is a subdivision of Metro that focuses solely on ADAS products, correct?
It is. Years ago, Metro's always on the cutting edge of product development, whether it's new or older cars. And we obviously saw a fit or a need to put some focus into a line dedicated solely to vehicle safety, like backup cameras, integration interfaces for certain types of vehicles that customers are looking for. And even though it may have been ahead of its time because the Ibeam line's been a lot of years, there's always a lot of focus put into at Metro, there's always a lot of focus put into developing things for the future, right? So with what we've done with Ibeam line over the last, 8 or so years, is really put the customer focus. So what does the customer need? They need to know what's behind them in the vehicle, initially to know. Parking sensors, what's behind them. Audible sensors that let them know how close they are. And then as that evolves, we find that now customers are wanting to see what's in front of them, wanting to see their blind spots, and having tools and ways to integrate into that factory radio so that they can add those features to the vehicle. And that's pretty much what the Ibeam line focuses on.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're hoping to learn about today. So give us a quick breakdown. What are we going to be covering today, Jay?
So today, we're going to be covering some new stuff that we've got coming out. We've got LVDS replacement cameras that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be discussing our new live stream camera and mirror combo. We've got a small little trinket. It's a voltage reducer that is just one of those pieces that every shop needs, but if you're a shop owner or shop installer, you may not know it's out there and available. So that's a pretty exciting piece. And then we have some new aftermarket style cameras. We've been selling these for about 1.5 years, but again, getting the word out and talking about or showing how those features can benefit an installer in the bay is really where I think that the purpose of types of videos and these types of training.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to show you guys for sure. And I think we got some videos for you.
Oh, videos too. All right. So dealers, tune in, get your scrapbook out or whatever you need to do, your notebook. Jaren, you and I, we're going to get out of Jason's way. We're going to put up his presentation. And
yeah, great. So one of the first products, and it's actually a newer product that we've got, is the TE-LV M9. And this is a live streaming mirror. And this mirror has a DVR camera up in the front. It's obviously got the standard windshield mount, but it's got a nice protected opening for your SD cards. So it's got a nice rubber gasket, kind of seals in, clips in, and really finishes off that look. So you don't have any kind of, you got a nice smooth looking finish all the way down the top of that mirror where you insert the SD card. So what is unique and somewhat different about this live view camera is it's not touchscreen. What we found with some of our other live stream products is the touchscreen would always get gummed up with your finger, grease, and you'd always have to wipe it down, and it just really wasn't user friendly. So what we ended up doing is we ended up making all of the buttons and the settings haptic touches. So you're touching the bottom of the mirror to adjust and make your changes within the menu. We also did an upgrade to the operating system to make it a little bit more stable and user-friendly. So it's really easy to navigate through these menus. You of course get that live streaming view back behind the vehicle, which is typically found in some of your higher end vehicles, like Cadillac, for example, was the first manufacturer that I know of to come to market with something like this. So being the aftermarket side of things, we obviously wanted to adopt that same technology, that same vehicle feature, which is why we ended up bringing this into the Ibeam line. So along with the front DVR, we also have a rear camera. And this rear camera is what captures the images of the video and projects it onto your mirror. Now, this camera comes with multiple mounts. This is an inside windshield mount or rear window mount, or it comes with the standard backup camera mount that you typically find in any of our aftermarket Ibeam cameras. One thing I will say is, as we discuss about the mirror and the camera option, you don't have to use the camera if you don't want. This just operates as a standard backup mirror, like rear view mirror as well. So you have that feature of turning it on and off. So another feature that we got, and this was actually feedback from our customers, these adapter mounts, vehicle specific mounts, are something that the customers were requesting, and they were requesting that we add it into each kit. So this particular mount is for VW. We have a Chrysler mount, and we have a Honda and Subaru mount. All of these mounts are included in the kits. Chrysler mount obviously being the most popular, just because there's so many on the road today, right? It also comes with an accessory pack for you to hide the wire from the rear view mirror up into the headliner. It comes with some zip ties and a nice little wire clamp. And it comes with enough cable for you to go from the front of your vehicle, from where the mirror would mount, all the way to the back of the vehicle. And this is going to cover some of your larger vehicles. So we've got 32 feet, I believe, 32 feet of cable. So we've got a replacement rear view mirror. We've got a backup camera, which, by the way, are both 1080p, 30 frames per second. Comes with a full color instruction manual. And in that instruction manual, it details all of the menu, how to access the menu features, how to control those menu features, how to access your recordings or your events. So if you do get into an accident or something like that, you can always access that directly from the screen. You obviously have the SD card that saves those events, and you can drop that out and load that into your computer and obviously view your files. So it really is it's a product that, yes, we've had other live stream mirrors in our line before, but as with all products within the Ibeam line, it's always an evolution. So we're always saying, great, we have this is the latest and this is the greatest. What can we do to make that better and bring it in? And this was our solution. The LVM9 is the latest and greatest. And we just, made that just a little bit better, because we use our own product here. Our sales staff uses our product. We installed in their vehicle. They're testing it. They're working with it every day. So we have their feedback. We have customer feedback, and this is the newest product that we have produced to adopt that feedback. So we're really excited about it. So some of the next product that we're going to be talking about is, I think, one of our cooler products that we've come out with in a long time. And I'm excited about it because it works really, really well. And that is our no drill parking sensor. It's part number TE-2PSK. And what is unique about this is that the sensors, you don't have to drill sensors into the bumpers anymore. It projects through plastic bumpers, and instead of 4 sensors that you typically get with a backup camera, there's only 2. And what's really nice about them is they are really small. So these sensors, they've got 3M double-sided tape that attach to the inside of plastic bumpers. And this projects through that bumper and still covers the entire area or range of your bumper. So it's basically got the range or coverage of a typical force sensor kit. So it's got that wide angle and it's got that deep sensing zone, and you still get the multiple tones from the sensor. So, one beep when you're 5 feet away, 2 beeps when you're 3 feet away, and then a solid steady beep when you're 1 foot away from something. So, what is also unique about this part is it's incredibly easy to install. Now, there are some applications where you would have to drop that bumper, but it's not every application. What we found in the installation or the discovery stage of the development of this product is there was about 30% of the time where we actually had to drop the bumper. And that was just to make that installation that much easier. Because locating these and making sure you get the areas clean around it is incredibly important. 3M double-sided tape, even though it's great tape, it's not going to stick to dirt. So you want to make sure you get all that stuff clean. We even included a little tape measure for you as well. So the tape measure is included in the kit, and it helps you measure out the locations on the bumper should you have to drop it. So we encourage anybody that's doing the install on this particular product, with this particular product, if you have to remove the bumper, mark the locations where these two sensors are going to go, boom and boom. And that's going to make it a lot easier to locate when you remove that bumper. If you don't have to remove the bumper, that's even better. Your installation time is cut drastically down. All the connections, they're waterproof 4-pin connectors from Molex, and the installation is incredibly easy. You've got 2 wires, you got power, you got ground, and you have your sensor plugs. So you've got the Molex connectors for the sensors, which are right here. You've got your audible little speaker, and then you have a programming button that is included with the kit. And really that's it. So you got power, which power would be your reverse signal, and you have ground. Once power and ground is connected, you simply press this button, hold it, wait for a chirp from the speaker, and your setup is complete. So it really is a simple solution. And I have to say, one of the, when years and years ago when I was doing these installs, doing installs with parking sensor for sensor kits, it's pretty intimidating. If you get the hole in the wrong position or it's not level, that's going to cause a problem for the shop, for the customer, for anyone involved in the installation of this product and that product. With these, it takes the guesswork out. If you get it in the wrong position, yeah, you're going to have to cut some double-sided tape to re-stick it, but ultimately you're not damaging the car in a way that it can't be easily repaired. So these sensors, incredibly sensitive. They're very effective, very efficient, and I even think we have a little video to show you guys how easy the installation does, and we also go through the programming sequence as well.
Hi, this is Stephanie from Metro Electronics. Today I'm going to tell you about a new product in our Ibeam line. This is going to be the TE2PSK. This is a no-drill parking sensor kit that's going to include 2 sensors. You're going to mount them right directly into the back of your bumper, and it's not going to require any drilling. So let's go through and unbox it, and I'll show you what you get in the box. Inside comes with your instructions. Very good step-by-step color instructions. You get your 2 little mini sensors. Very small little guys. Now these are going to mount, like I said before, behind the bumper, so you don't have to drill. Bumper may have to come off if you can't get behind it, but you can see they are very small. See how small that is on my hand? Super small. And you only require 2 of them, not like 4 like other kits. You get a harness. This is going to be your power harness. Also has the connections for the sensors on them. They're tight, water-resistant connectors. You can see that gasket on there. Plug right in, real simple. You also have a programming button. That's going to be used for when you get everything set up to program the system and get it started. You get some alcohol prep pads to wipe down and make sure that the bumper is clean before you mount your sensors. You get some zip ties to secure everything in place. You get a little mini piezo that's going to provide audio for you when your sensors sense something. You get a little ruler so that you can measure everything out if you don't have your own, kind of supply everything for you. And then last but not least, the activator for the 3M tape on here. Want to make sure that's going to get a nice, secure adhesion to the bumper. So now let's do the install.
Start by taping the bumper to find the proper mounting location for the sensor. The sensors are to be mounted 15 to 24 inches from the ground and 10 to 20 inches from the center of the vehicle. These measurements will be different for every vehicle and can be adjusted by 4 inches for all measurements. Start by finding and marking the center of the vehicle. Then tape a straight line out from the center to each side of the vehicle. The ideal mounting location for the sensor is a flat location. Once the position is measured, make sure the inside of the bumper is cleaned properly. Please note, most bumpers will need to be removed to gain access to a flat location for the sensors. After mounting each sensor on the bumper, run the wire from each sensor into the vehicle, making sure to secure the wiring to the vehicle so it does not drag on the ground or get caught in any moving parts. Once in the vehicle, a good source for a reverse signal and ground will need to be located and tapped into. Verify the reverse signal and ground with a digital multimeter. After the reverse signal and ground are connected, finish the install by mounting and connecting the mini speaker for the audible alerts. There's a simple calibration sequence that needs to be done. Plug in the calibration button, put the vehicle into reverse, and make sure there is nothing within 3 feet of the vehicle, and press and hold the button for 3 seconds or until you hear 2 continuous beeps. This indicates that the sensors are calibrated and active. After this, the button can be unplugged and the system can be tested.
That was good video. Like I said, that's one of the better parts that I think that we have in the Ibeam line. Now, one thing I will say about Ibeam, obviously we've had aftermarket backup cameras and commercial cameras for a long time. We've been selling them, and they sell really well because there's a lot of high demand for it, right? But what we have seen over the past few years, is obviously an increase in the OEM's radio, like screen size. Screens are getting bigger. They're getting more integrated. And when you're at the dealership and you see the vehicles, the higher end vehicles with all the features, the cameras, multiple angles, and then you have to take that step down. You have to go to the next model below, and maybe it doesn't have those features, but it is something you're looking for. Well, with Ibeam and the product that Access has developed, we can combine those 2 lines together and provide a solution for those customers that are looking to add those additional camera features to their vehicles. So Access has a full line of add cam interfaces. Basically, you're adding a camera to the factory screen. We have applications for Ford. We have applications for Chrysler, GM, Mazda. We have a lot of applications that can be found both on the Access website, but also on the Ibeam website. And the purpose of this interface is to add additional cameras. You can retain the factory camera, and if you're retaining the factory camera, you can add an additional 3 aftermarket cameras, one for the front, one for the left, and one for the right. And those cameras are triggered by either through analog triggers, which would be a switch, turn signal, something like that, or they're controlled via CAN communication. So what's unique and what's cool about the particular interface is, for example, you have an OE backup camera and you want to add a front camera. You can do that with these interfaces. But the sequence is, and this is what's cool about it, is as you go, if you're in a parking spot, you start the car, you go into reverse, you start backing up, your backup camera comes on, you can see what's behind you, right? As you back out of that spot, you switch it from reverse into drive. Now, the interface will show that front camera up to 15 miles an hour. So while you're going through a parking lot, while you might be parallel parking, you have the ability to not only see what's behind you, but also see what's in front of you. And it's all seamless because we are interfacing with vehicle's CAN bus system. So we know when the car is in reverse, we know when the car is in drive, and we know how fast the car is going. So, with the combo of the Access line, as well as the, how Ibeam can complement the line, they complement each other actually, with adding aftermarket cameras, customers can now add front cameras, left cameras, and right cameras, and all have it work seamlessly because it is going through the vehicle CAN bus. Now the setup on that is actually really easy. You go onto the Access Updater website, you select Add Cam Configuration, and boom, you're right there. You select your make and model, and that's where you can determine what inputs you use and how they will be triggered. Will they be triggered off of the factory CAN bus circuit? Will they be triggered off of an analog circuit? So they're, again, it's a perfect combination between Access and Ibeam, especially when we're talking about camera interfacing. So one of the other products that we have for the AdCam is also GM. GM has an LVDS camera in a lot of their trucks. They have a 7-inch screen with LVDS, and they have an 8-inch screen with an LVDS. Access makes an interface for that as well. So even if you have those higher end OE cameras, Access still has a solution for you. So we're really excited. Obviously, we don't have to partner. We're the same. We're just same siblings. But it's really great to know that we have other lines under the Metro umbrella that support each other, and in turn support the shops and the installers that are using the product. So really excited about it. I highly encourage people to give this a try, and also advertise that to your customers, because you never know, they may have saw that feature at the dealership and they didn't think it was available to them. So we're really excited about this one. I think the next one we're going to be talking about is multi-mount cameras. So what can you do to an aftermarket license plate camera, that hasn't already been done, right? We've been selling these types of cameras, license plate cameras, for a long time. Everybody has. But really, what makes it different? How do we make that different? And this was actually feedback from our customers as well. And again, we listen to what our customers, and our customers basically shop owners, right? Shops and shop installers. We listen to their feedback, and we take that back, we discuss it internally, and then we move forward. That might be a year and a half down the road before something comes to market, but we hear what you guys are saying. And this product, this lineup, is a direct result of that. So one of the hurdles that we were told about by shops is that when they install license plate cameras with IR LEDs or regular white LEDs, whenever you put it into reverse, no matter, day, night, if you wire it up to be constantly on all the time, these LEDs are on. If they're IR, they can discolor what you see up at the front on the screen. If they're on white, then basically you got white light shining back behind you all day or night. So it's not really conducive to the environment of a decent product, good product. So what the suggestion was, very simple, right? Why don't we have the backup camera and the LEDs independently triggered? Man, that's a great idea. So what we ended up doing is we put an accessory wire for the camera to turn on. So if somebody wants to view their trailer while they're driving or see what's behind them, they can go through their aftermarket screen, hit a button, as long as the radio is compatible with it, and see what's going on. Because we upgraded not only the wiring configuration of the camera, but we also upgraded the power circuit for the camera as well. So it's designed to stay on all the time. So what this does, because we're powering the camera off of accessory, whenever the ignition is on, whenever the radio is on, you're going to get your visual from your camera. Only when you connect up the reverse wire will the LEDs and the parking lines come on. Now, if they're active parking lines, they're going to be fixed. They're not going to turn on or off. But if they're static parking lines, then the moment you put that into reverse, your LEDs or your IRs would light up and your parking lines would show up. So it's a great, but it's a simple solution that we may not have thought about had we not had that feedback. So really cool, really, it's those little things that kind of make your day, right? So not only is this a license plate mounted camera, but it also comes with an additional mount. So it's an under lip mount or a license plate camera. If you're dealing with the bullet camera, then you're going to have the license plate mount, the flush mount, and then the lip mount. So obviously the bullet camera doesn't have IRs, but it does turn the parking lights on and off independently with those two different circuits. So I think we got a little video here. I show you how to use them, and yeah, let's take a look.
Hi, Jason from Metro Electronics. Today I'm excited to bring you a first-to-market product for the Ibeam line. We've got 4 cameras. They're behind the license plate dual mount cameras that have an increased power supply so they can stay on all the time, but we also are bringing you an independently controlled IR triggers and LED triggers for your camera. So we're going to take some time, we're going to go over some of the new products, and we're going to show you how this can benefit you in the Bay. The first product I'd like to talk to you about is TE-2MP LTC. This is an active line camera with an increased power circuit. And what that means for you is that you can leave the camera on all the time. Even some of the cameras in our current Ibeam line, it's not really recommended to power that camera off of accessory. They don't really have the power circuit for it. So we upgraded the power circuit in these 4 cameras. We also added, for those cameras that have additional LEDs and IRs, we added a trigger that is independently controlled. The purpose of this trigger, once you put it to 12 volts, it will turn on the LEDs. So what this is going to allow you to do is still watch what's going on behind your vehicle while you're driving, but it's not going to have those LEDs on. We've gotten a lot of requests over the years to really give this a dual feature setup. And with these 4 product lines, I think we've really done that. So we're going to go through the remaining 3 products, show you a little bit more about it and how it can benefit you. The next camera I want to talk to you about is part number TE-2MPIR. This is similar to the camera I just shown you. The only difference is one is IR, the other is LED. The 2MP LTC had active parking lines. So those parking lines are not controllable through a trigger or through a parking line loop. But the 2MP IR is. So this, just like the camera before it, comes with multiple mounting options. You'll see this one has IR LEDs, and those can be independently triggered as well as the parking lines. So again, you can wire this up to a full accessory because it has that improved power circuit. You can watch what's going on behind you, and only when you pop that vehicle in reverse will the IR LEDs come on, as well as the parking lines. This particular, these particular products, because of our design of our retail box, all 4 of them have wall hangers on them, or hook hangers, so that they'll display really nicely in your stores. The next camera that I want to tell you about is another active line camera. It is the TE-2M PTC. This camera is, again, just like the first one, it's an active line. So we can't independently control the parking lines. But it does have an improved power circuit, so it can remain on the entire time while you're driving, and it does have those 2 mounts that I was telling you about earlier. Now the last camera I'd like to talk to you about is the TE-2MP. This one is just like your standard, your normal bullet camera. Comes with the license plate mount, but what's unique about this particular product is it comes with the additional mounts that you normally see with a bullet style camera. The lip mount as well as the flush mount. So it comes with a hole saw. Again, it's got that improved power circuit we've been talking about. So this really is going to fit the bill for a multiple range of applications. I think it's going to be a great product, and it's certainly going to look good on the shelf. So I feel with these 4 products that we've launched this year with this feature set, it really shows that we hear what the installers are requesting. They want more vehicle safety. They want more features for the customers, and Ibeam can definitely supply those features for them. Not to mention the standard Ibeam 3-year warranty on almost all the product within the line. So if you'd like some more information on what we offer within the Ibeam line, you can visit ibeamusa.com.
Yeah, I had to change my shirt real quick. I like, red and blue. Figured I'd change it up today. But the next part I'd like to talk to you guys about is it's one of those shop parts that you're just glad you have, especially when you need it. And that's our voltage reducer. This takes basically 12 volts in, and it gives you either 9 volts, 6 volts, 5 volts, or 3.3 volts out. So it's basically a voltage reducer. Now you might say, I don't understand when I would need them, why I would need them, right? But the unique thing about this part is it's basically 4 different parts in one. So 9-volt cameras, 9-volt switch is for OE cameras. Some of the Nissan vehicles from a few years back, they had 9-volt turn-ons. Very common now is 6-volt turn-ons. Within the Axis line, we have the Cam 6V. That's incredibly popular piece, but you don't always need 6 volts. Sometimes you need 9. If you're doing a Ford amp turn-on, everybody knows you need 5 volts to turn on those amps, so you get a nasty pop, right? Well, you can do that with a voltage reducer. And then 3.3 volts. Why do we need 3.3 volts? I've never seen 3.3 volts before. Well, aftermarket cameras. All of your aftermarket cameras within the Ibeam line have 3.3 volts. That's the voltage that they operate on. Now, what the current capability is of this voltage reducer is for the 3 volt, the 5 volt, and the 6 volt. It is 2 amps. So you could have 2 amps of current flowing through this voltage reducer. If you're using the 9 volt setting, you can only have 1.5 amps. So within the when you get this product, you get this nice instruction sheet that gives you all the different options down here of how to wire it. So the wiring is incredibly easy as well. You know, if we're talking just backup cameras, retaining factory backup cameras, all we want to do is throw some power to that, right? We're going to take our red and our blue wire, twist that together. Okay. We're going to put black wire to ground. We're going to put the red and blue wire to either a ignition source or the reverse signal from the vehicle. And then the white wire is going to power our factory camera, our aftermarket camera, our, you know, whatever you've got going. So real easy to switch it as well. So we've got labels on the back of this, 3, 5, 6, and 9. It's all controlled by the dip switch. So again, it's not a part that you're going to use necessarily every day, but it's a part that is going to be a huge time saver in your shop. It's better to have it, not need it, than to need it, not have it, right? Now, if you're going to do the 5 volt forward amp turn on, your blue wire would go to your trigger to the OEM amp. Red wire would go to 12 volts, and then black wire would go to the ground wire. So again, really easy, one part, and it can cover a wide range of applications or issues that you may run into in the bay. So great piece, highly recommend it. It's just, again, it's one of those pieces that it's just good to have. It's just smart to have. So we do have that in the line, and that we end up moving quite a bit of those. So it's a really good piece for us. Now the next product is LVDS cameras. So, you know, we talked earlier about camera interfacing through the access line, right? And we have LVDS options. Well, when customers replace aftermarket or factory radios with aftermarket radios in their vehicle, if that vehicle has an LVDS camera, you know, there's a lot of times an additional interface that is required to retain that factory camera. Those factory cameras, those interfaces to retain that factory camera can be pretty expensive. They can be an additional cost or charge to the customer. And that might drive that cost just a little bit too high for that customer to feel good about. So what we did is we took a look at a couple vehicle applications, specifically Jeep, GM, and Dodge, basically Dodge Ram 1500, because those are some of the more popular vehicles that are out on the road today. GM and Dodge, or Ram, use LVDS cameras in their vehicles. Ford is starting to adopt it. So as we move forward, we'll make one for Ford as well. But what we end up doing is we end up creating an adapter plate out of plastic. Metro does plastic. We love plastic. You know, we're built around plastic. And we take an Ibeam camera and we incorporate that into that part. We tool it up and then we adapt it to that OE handle. So basically what you're doing is you're taking the OE camera out and you're putting our aftermarket camera in with our plastics. And these cameras and plastics fit just like OE does. Now, because we're going from an LVDS camera, which is an OE camera, to an aftermarket camera, composite camera, you are going to have a little bit loss in resolution. In this particular kit, this is for the Jeep Gladiator. what I'm holding in my hand here, the plastic and the camera. The Gladiator, when you install this camera, it installs into the OE location. You've got two different types of plastic. You've got one, they are labeled, 1 and 2. Okay. 1 is for standard backup camera, which means basically not 360. 2 is for that 360. Jeep decided to make the brackets different, of course, right? So because we realize that not everybody is going to want to get rid of that 360 camera initially, but in 10 years down the road, maybe that system fails. Maybe the customer doesn't want it because there's something new and there's something great out there. And instead of us going back and trying to find a vehicle to create this piece of plastic, we just built it now. We're not expecting necessarily to install a ton of these right now, but in 10 years, yeah, definitely. So what we're doing is within this kit, we're just including both brackets for you. So you basically use the one you want, throw the other one away, or save it for when it does become popular and you guys can pick up a camera from us. So these LVDS replacement cameras are designed to integrate into aftermarket screens with a standard composite input. So we cover Dodge Ram 1500, 2500, 3500 for the 2019 and up models. We cover Jeep Gladiator, or the GT, which would be 20 and up. We cover the Jeep JL, which is 18 and up, and then we have the GM Silverado, which is 2018 and up. Comes with the plastic bracket, comes with the camera, comes with enough length to get to the front of the vehicle so that you can plug it in without having to extend it to your aftermarket radio. So these are incredibly handy, and they're cost effective too. So when we were talking earlier about how that LVDS retention piece can be expensive at times, these LVDS replacement solutions are going to be more cost effective, and it might save that job, might save that quote, and might save that customer from walking out of your shop. So we've seen incredible success with this, and this is kind of like a testament to the Ibeam line as a whole. We're looking at different avenues, we're looking at different directions. Where can we go to help sustain the aftermarket industry? And currently, that's where this path led us, is to LVDS replacement cameras. So I think we've got one more video for you guys, and this is an installation of one of the LVDS replacement cameras. So enjoy.
Introducing Metro Jeep Accessories' new replacement camera and bracket for factory LVDS cameras on the 2020 and up Jeep Gladiators, the JP-JT-KT. A cost-effective replacement camera with a resolution of 550 TV lines and a viewing angle of 185 degrees diagonal. The installation of the JT-KT is quick and simple. You'll start by removing any panel from the tailgate to gain access to the camera. Depending on if your Jeep has a bed liner, it may be different than this video. These panels will be removed using a T25 Torx bit. After removing all the panels and safely setting them aside, you'll start by removing the camera housing. Start by unplugging the pink LVDS cable from the camera. There's a bracket that helps to secure the camera to the tailgate. You will slide that bracket to the right. There's a small tab on the side of the vehicle camera housing. Decompress that tab to allow the camera to slide out from the front of the tailgate. Remove the camera bracket from the housing with a Torx T6H bit. Be careful, these look like rivets, but they're not. Remove these 3 screws and set them aside. You'll use them to secure the new camera to the bracket. The housing from the factory will be reused as well. Using the 3 screws removed from the factory, secure the new camera and bracket to the factory housing. These brackets are numbered. Number 1 is for vehicles with only backup cameras, and number 2 is for vehicles with the surround view system. It's important to note that the surround view system will not be retained using this camera. Mount the camera in the new bracket with the QC sticker and wire following the direction of the arrow. Once the camera is mounted and secured, pop it back into the tailgate. Reattach the securing bracket, sliding it from right to left. After running the wire to the desired monitor and aftermarket radio, the install is complete. For any more information on this product, you could visit metroonline.com, find us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Thank you for choosing Metro Electronics. We are 12 volt.
So you can see a lot of the, just going to say, you can see a lot of those installations go relatively easy. It's really, as we move forward, we're going to put a lot more focus into these types of camera replacements. So we can go back to Ben, back to you.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and remove the presentation. We'll get Jaren back in here so we can discuss what we learned. And, just to comment on your last statement there, I don't think there's anything we covered today that's very advanced level install. I mean, our audience, obviously, the specialty 12-volt retailer, we're doing custom fab stuff. And that's the thing with ADAS is that it doesn't take your top, most experienced technician in the shop necessarily to install this stuff, right? And I think that's kind of an important thing to be aware of.
I agree with you.
Which segues great into my first comment. And Jaren, I'm going to lean on you as well. I'm sure you have some questions or two for Jason. Starting with the no drill sensors. Like, where were no drill sensors in my life? Why has this not been around longer? I'm going to be honest. When I first started seeing, I'm like, are we really going to take apart some of these bumpers and drill holes? And I'm not gonna lie. There's some hesitancy issues for me, from an installer standpoint. You're off. So many things could go wrong. Am I gonna quote the guy or even let him know that this is available? Maybe not. But now, hold on. These tiny little sensors, and I only need 2 of them. And most of the times, if I can get, a cleaning agent in there to make sure the surface is clean, and I got light in there, I could see what I'm doing. Definitely much more tempting. Jaren, what do you think?
Yeah, you said it properly, Ben. It's like I used to do backup sensors when I was installing, and it was like the rule of measure twice. I'd measure like 10 times because I was always afraid. Like, that was my biggest fear. I'm like, is it crooked? Standing there second guessing. But this, you're not second guessing yourself a whole bunch of times. Like Ben said, the worst that happens is you got to remove the bumper in 30% of the vehicles. Like, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, but you're not putting a multi-bit into a rubber. But you're not putting a multi-bit into, a plastic bumper. Oh, I went too deep. That hole is too big. My sensors. I mean, there's just so many things that can go wrong. I'm just saying. So
they're not spaced evenly apart. I mean,
and let's be honest with this one. If you're off a centimeter or 2 or an inch, you're pretty close. Doesn't matter. You're good. You know what I mean? So yeah, really, really cool. Now, I really love the fact you brought access into the conversation, Jason, because it's important. We're talking about cameras and integration, and of course, access being the integration wing of Metra. I had a question about that. So that was to add 3 extra cameras to an existing factory system. And I love how it switches either analog or by bus, forward gets the front camera. I'm paying attention, see? The left and right blind spot. Here's my question. What if I have an aftermarket radio that only has 1 video input? Can I use something like that?
Yeah, you can. You have basically 4 camera inputs. So that one of those camera inputs can be factory or it could be aftermarket. So, and then basically it takes those 4 inputs and it gives you 1 output that plugs into your aftermarket screen. So, yeah, even though your aftermarket radio may only have 1 video
and let's
input,
be honest, the majority of aftermarket radios have 1 input because they were thinking, backup cam, right? That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and the interface will basically manage all that switching for you and then output the video signal appropriate to whatever action's going on. So left turn signal, right turn signal, whatever, front, so it'll handle all that for you.
Yeah, that's kind of slick. Jaren, your thoughts on that piece?
Much simpler. That will cut down the install time. I've done it the old school way where you're switching power to cameras, using signal lights to activate the factory radio with pulse stretchers. And So it's just much simpler install, much more straightforward.
And I'll be honest, when I was looking at this this unit, I'm going to bring this up. I have to bring this up here. So let's go back. I'm just going back to that slide for that replacement camera. I'm just going to bring it up real quick here. Like when I first saw that, I'm like, why are there so many pieces for a camera interface? And then I had to go closer and like, what is going on here? But once you started explaining it, Jay, I started understanding what this actually is. And I mean, for those situations where you can get onto the CAN bus, that's brilliant. I mean, that's just automatic. It's just all set up. You know what I mean? Okay, so here I am scratching my head on one item though. LVDS camera replacement. I need to go a little bit deeper on this. I'm trying to understand. So correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, LVDS cameras factory provide an excellent resolution. They have to, right? Just it's regulated. So why would I not want to just find a way to integrate into said high quality camera, which is already in my vehicle, instead of doing what you're suggesting? Is that a fair question?
So yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of it about cost, right? So LVDS interfacing. So you need a chip, a circuit board, basically to decode that LVDS signal and output a composite video. And you're managing that video regardless. That chip is handling that video. It's compressing that video. So and the cost difference when we were evaluating this product for development, the cost difference to have a 4-camera solution versus a single camera solution was very close to the same. I mean, there wasn't enough difference in the cost to really justify making a single interface for just one camera. So and that obviously comes with these circuit boards, the coding and all that other stuff. It comes at an expense, right? So customers right now, they have a brand new vehicle, right? Brand new, 2022, 2023, whatever. And right now they're happy with their LVDS camera, right? What happens when it fails? What happens when the radio fails? Because they are going to fail. And what are the customer's options? They can spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to put a factory radio back in there, where they can retain their LVDS camera.
Oh, I see where you're going now. Okay.
Or are they going to install an aftermarket solution, control their costs to get them back on the road, to get them back listening to their music or seeing what's going on with their vehicle because everything's so integrated, that the resolution of that camera at that time, 10 years down the road, it may not be as good anymore. There may be some signal loss. There may be discoloration in the lens or whatever it is. So whenever we're developing product, we're developing it for newer vehicles because we have access to these newer vehicles. But truly what we're doing is offering a customer solution now, but that solution has become much more valuable in the future, right? As these cars get older, as they need to be replaced, aftermarket radios, cameras fail, an accident, somebody gets rear-ended and breaks their camera, right? Well, let's do an audio. Let's upgrade your stereo right now. There's this new CarPlay feature that your car doesn't have. Well, we can do that. So, and the cameras that we're including with these LVDS replacements, they're 550 TV lines, and that's a pretty good high resolution. It's definitely not as high as LVDS, but it is a higher resolution camera than typically found in the aftermarket world.
So if I understand you correctly, and I am getting to the mindset of the customer now, whether I have a new vehicle, I'm not happy with my stock sound, I'm going to go change the source unit. There it is. Boom, I've come into a conundrum. And the conundrum is, well, if you need to have a backup cam. The problem is the one that's on your car, you have two options, sir. You either get the adapter to convert this LVDS signal to a signal that your source unit recognizes, the component signal. Or, hey, you just happen to have a vehicle that I can give you, that I can offer you a full replacement to this kit that you're suggesting from Ibeam at a lower cost.
Yes.
Did I get that right? Okay. So that's incredibly important that we figured out, because from a dealer perspective, you need to know this, armed with this information, because it's going to happen.
Yep.
You're gonna run into, and you don't want to. No customer wants to be surprised after spending $1,500 on a brand new radio to know they have to spend X amount of X dollars just to get their backup camera work because they have to by law. Nobody. That's a sucky situation. You need to be aware of this ahead of up front and educate that customer. And here are the options. Jaren, anything to add?
Speaking on education, I'm gonna pick Jason's brain because I'm sure he's gonna know the answer to this. I'm gonna backtrack a bit. So any of our dealers that haven't run into an LDVS situation, what's stopping them from integrating into that camera as like a standard? Hey, there's a camera. Shouldn't I be able to integrate the video like I do in most other vehicles?
So there's at the camera, typically an LVDS camera, what we've seen is like you saw in that video, it's going to have like a pink connector. And within that camera, there's a circuit board that has the LVDS chip on it. That's how it transmits the video signal back and forth between the head unit, right? So if number one,
I'm sorry. There's a two-way communication data integrated into LVDS that I didn't know.
There's communication. There's power going to the camera,
Right.
and then there's information coming back. So
Fair
yes,
enough. Okay.
it is all coming down one cable.
Mm-hmm.
But that easiest way to tell is to put eyes on the camera, and then you'll see if it has a Fokker style connector. That's usually an LVDS camera. And then you'll know if you don't see, if you see basically one cable going through it. You can always check our application chart as well. That'll give you a good indication of what interface to use. And then obviously application chart for Ibeam as well, which can all be pulled up under Metra's application chart. And you'll see what replacement solutions we have under the Ibeam line, which would be an aftermarket replacement solution. So as we move forward, we will and are seeing more LVDS cameras from the factory. So this is quickly going to become a plastic aftermarket solution development, but also at the same time we're developing for Axis. So we'll have two solutions moving forward.
Very good. Very good. We're running out of time a little bit, but I want to squeeze in one more comment, and I'm going to go back to the Clearview mirror that you had, or the live stream, whatever it was called. That mirror looks really slick. I love that you showed it. But I'm most impressed with the thought that went into taking off the touchscreen control. I never understood for 1 second why anybody would want to smudge their rear view mirror. One of the first things I do, and maybe it's my OCD, when I get into my car is I take my microfiber towel and I wipe my mirror. I need it crystal clear. Like, this is just something I need to do.
That's funny. You have a micro towel right there.
I have glasses, and you have glasses. So you always have that handy, and I wipe the lens and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Anyhow, having said that, that you managed to move the control off of the actual mirror surface itself.
We did.
So I would imagine that the display of said menus is on the mirror, though. Is that right?
It is. Yeah. Okay. So on the mirror, when you're in the menu section, it has arrows where it gives you the touch points for the haptic touch or controls, and it's really it's intuitive, it's easy to use, and like you said, it doesn't get those smudges on there because when we're testing this, we got test vehicles here, and we throw all kinds of crap in these vehicles, and I get in the vehicle and it's we're looking at 8 individual swiping up or down points on the mirror. It's all gummed up, and then so we really felt it was best to move that off screen, still give them the same features, same controls, just a little bit easier. And we did an upgrade to the operating system as well.
And talk about a piece that really upgrades the experience inside a vehicle. I mean, that piece there feels like a high-end piece for a high-end experience and a high-end environment. And I know Importel does really well with that type of piece, does it not, Jaren?
Yeah, anything like OE look just is great. That was what I was going to comment on, that mirror looks OE. Like you see it in the vehicle and it's off. You would never think that it's like the full recording, like.
And it's a dual 2-channel dash cam situation. I forgot to mention that. Hello. It's a 2-channel dash cam. That's really what it is.
One thing that I mean, I didn't talk about is, because we have the multi-mount options for the rear camera,
Mhm.
you can use that in any, I mean, any situation or scenario you want. So let's say that you don't want to see what's going on behind you. You want to see your kids in the back seat. Well, you can use that mount and mount it in a location where you can catch a full view of your kids and what's going on and who they're fighting with in the back seat.
Oh, maybe you're an Uber driver.
First punch.
Uber driver.
Right. Uber
Yeah.
drivers, absolutely.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can also fire it out the back window. You can attach that bracket to the back window, fires it right out. So you got an SUV, if you got a, a big truck or something like that, you want to see the gooseneck, dropping into the latch. It's versatile in a way that allows the customers to use it differently. So that's actually a unique point about it as well.
Yeah, and versatility is great when it comes to stocking items. And if you're going to stock a mirror, you want to stock one that can cover a lot of different scenarios. And I think that one certainly does that.
Absolutely.
Jay, I have no more questions. Of course, I've tried very hard to stump you and I failed miserably. So congratulations.
No.
Thank you so much. Don't know how you
Thank
change
you.
shirts so fast, but hey, industry trade secret. I get it.
It's a skill. I
get it.
Yeah.
Thanks
I guess
so
somebody
much for
pulling the clothes off for
There you go. Well, we look
But-
forward to the next one, Jay. And again, appreciate your time coming in today, sharing us details about Ibeam products.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Jaren. We'll talk to you guys soon. Okay.
All right. Take care. All right, Jaren, let's close her out. First of all, I want to give the good folks tuning in the information they require to get more information. The information for information, of course. Ibeam products. You want to get the goods on Ibeam. Ibeamusa.com. That's the website. All the applications, every product we talked about today is in there in full detail and specification. And if you happen to be in Canada, well, get a hold of one of the big distributors of Metra/Ibeam products, and that is, of course, Importel, importel.com. Jaren and his team are standing by to take your order. Jaren, last message from everything we learned today and what Jason brought to the table as far as some new products from Ibeam.
There's plenty of solutions out there for Ibeam. Has he covered off in those different solutions, different applications out there. Give us a call if you're running into a problem on a vehicle, and we'll help you find a solution.
Solution. Keyword. #solution. Mr. Jaren, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Ben.
There you have it. If you like learning about ADAS, and this is a category that is enticing for you in your shop, make sure you just keep it locked here on CMA Networks for the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems sessions going right through till October 12th. A new brand every day at 12 p.m. Eastern. Now, got to tell you about this awesome contest. If you're an installer or you work at a shop, you need to know about our Ultimate Fab Experience giveaway. Win an all-inclusive trip to Master Tech Expo next spring in Mesa, Arizona. Head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway. Sign up for free. We're picking a winner from the US and a winner from Canada. And while you're on our website, of course, check out all the other great videos from Metra, from Ibeam, from Jason Anderson, and Jaren. Guess what, Jaren? You have your new own profile on CMA Networks now. Did you know that? You should check that out as well. All right. That's it. Thanks for keeping it locked here on CMA Networks for CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?